Hey friends, Coach here, and I'm doing a new series specifically on habits. So are you struggling with maybe making some changes in, say, your dietary approach or maybe in your life, preventing you from going to that next step, to getting to that place that you've always wanted to get to? Or maybe there's just something you just want to improve on, something that you've thought about for a while, but you're just not sure how to do that. Now, I'm here today to kind of present this very short series, and it's called Hform. And all it is, it's about reformulating habits. Power of the mind, right? So this is a textbook I read for one of my classes. Like I said, I'm a psychology major. I still don't have my degree. So there again, not a doctor, not certified. I'm not an expert really in anything other than my own experience, right? At the same time, I like to think that has a little bit of merit, a little bit of credibility on its own, just because I like to try stuff. I like to see how my body responds, what I'm thinking in the process. Now, one of the reasons I like to focus on, say, behavior or habits or whatever you want to say, our thoughts, actions, just different things that make us ourselves based on our life experience. Maybe it's based on our environment, some of the ways we've been shaped. I just think that it has a lot more, say, deeper roots. And if you can really get down there and say kind of dig them up or say change them, that's the best way to get overall change. So if you can throw like tips and hacks, those can be helpful in some senses. Maybe those are called maybe surface layer things that they can ingrain over time and get deeper with practice. But to me, overall, if you kind of look into the mindset, the mentality of what it takes. Okay, so if you're trying to change approach, you're trying to change habits, where do you start? And that's really what the point of this whole series is just to kind of give you a quick glimpse. It takes about a month to say change the habits or say the routines or maybe some of the patterns or behaviors in our life, right? And that's kind of true. I like to call it like the trial period. What can you change in a month? Sometimes it's a week and that's where we start, but a month is the overall kind of assessment. We go through that month, we go through that, say, period of where we're trying to do X, Y, and Z. Is it effective? Is it good for us? I don't know. And that's what really is up to you to find out, is to just be thoughtful and mindful every day as you go about this. And so I took a 1-month journey in order to say, try a number of different habits in 1 month. They're actually what I needed to do the Hform series, because there was a number of certain things I've built up over this year specifically, had a lot to do with experimentation, trying different things, and they actually formed into bad patterns or bad habits that I kind of need to unprogram, because they're gonna take me away from my overall goals of where I wanna be at the end of this. And it's not necessarily the best physique, it's to be in a mental, spiritual, and physical place that I'm very, say, not just confident in, but content and very happy to have, because that's the one thing I've lost maybe in this process is, number one is my physique, but I've maybe lost my way a little bit and say some of the mental things I've done and struggles I've had. Just doing content, there's a number of areas. This isn't just nutrition and health. This is like overall life things. So I pretty much came up with this kind of random, say, mnemonic, or you can call it like an acronym. There's steps to take along the way, weekly steps. First and foremost, to give yourself a goal. What habit do you want to change? What are you looking to, say, replace or get rid of or add in? And that's what you really have to determine first, is what you want to change. The T, which is going to be your time, depending on your lifestyle, what you got going on. It depends on what you're trying to change specifically, but it has to fit into your windows or your schedule somehow or another. I like to use, say, a calendar or some sort of reminder to make sure to be mindful of that during the day, right? It just depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to be, say, more patient, that would be one where maybe we have a 15-minute window where we get an alarm and we reflect, how's my patience today? What am I doing that's making this better? Or am I getting worse in this area, right? We're just doing self-assessment and evaluation. So the next one that comes in is the E, and that's to execute. Dip your toes in a little bit maybe that first day, but really overall, we got to jump in the pool. We can't just sit there and wait and think about it. We're going in the direction that we want to go by actually doing it. So the next one's going to be P, and I call it progression. And that just means is you're not going to be, say, perfecting this maybe 1 week. You might just be taking those initial, say, dips in the water, right? You're just kind of feeling it out. You're trying to see how it works. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's not right for you, and you'll know that out the gate. But then again, maybe it's like, okay, there's something to this. So you start moving forward. You might do something really small the first week, and you might just build on that and build on that. And before you know it, over months, it's become this wonderful thing in your life, right? It's this new habit that you've never had before, and it could be, say, a new hobby. It could be, maybe some education that you've always wanted to get, and now you have a new skill. It could be a lot of different things. So progression just means we're getting better over time. Okay, and for the last one, the S, we put stay committed. And that just means that, we stick with it. We don't just give up. Motivation and commitment are two very different things. So even though we're progressing and we say get to that place we've always want, it just stays in there, right? Commitment to me is where, hey, I've put it in there and I'm just gonna go ahead and do it no matter what. Even though, let's say some days I'm not motivated to do it, I get a benefit afterwards. There's a reason I do it, and there's 100%, let's say, motivation afterwards. Maybe it's like, oh, I remember why I like this. So start asking yourself those questions. You know, what do you want to change? Especially when it comes to, say, a transformation or making change or being healthier, you have to start thinking about what has to change in your life, right? Is it 100% the way you want it right now and you're very happy? That's fantastic. Could you make something a little bit better, a little bit different? I always try and think that maybe there's a way to go a little bit further, and that's part of just my life journey. You know, I'm always trying to push myself, and not everyone needs to do that. Some people just need to get to a point where they're satisfied, content, and that's what gives them joy. So we're all just different. So it really depends on your personality, depends on your overall, say, motivation and goals, and that's really gonna depend. So is this for everybody? Not necessarily, but maybe you'll tune in and check out some of the reasons of why I do this and what makes it effective. How does it get me to my goals when, say, they're aggressive or assertive? Because I don't generally have goals that are just, I know I can get there. I make sure they're challenging. I make sure it's something that, you know what, there's a probability I might not succeed. And you're gonna see that too with Hform. I have no idea what my look or my physique's gonna finish as. As a matter of fact, Hform, when you follow it, I didn't even get to the goal. I had a very aggressive goal, saying being really lean, and I just didn't get it. But that was okay, because the whole point of Hform was to show that, you know what, there's weeks we just don't succeed the way we think we were supposed to, and that's fine. In a normal lifestyle, and let's say a healthy, balanced lifestyle, you know, there's weeks where some people call them setbacks, I call them learning opportunities. Hey, you know what, this didn't fit that week. I have next week to do better, and that's really what's gonna help, I think, a lot of people, say, be successful in a life journey. The last one, S, is gonna be your success. Is that what I put? So I'm very intentional, kind of and aware of these dogs. The mentality of what it takes. Happy, shut up!